Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Business Today TV. I am Chetan Bhutani. Today I am joined by a guest who is literally leading the electric vehicle and, of course, the hybrid flex fuel vehicles revolution in India. And I'm joined by the Vice Chairman of Toyota Kirloskar Motor Corporation, Mr. Vikram Kirloskar. Thank you, Mr. Vikram, for joining us on Business Today TV. First question to you. Tell us about how's it going at Toyota. You've been into the various aspects of developing new vehicles. First of all, it is, of course, the flex fuel vehicle, the Mirai, which is a fuel cell electric vehicle. Tell us what are the plans for that in India?
No, I think what we are doing with the Mirai is actually just to showcase the technology. India is interested, or the vision what the Prime Minister has put is a reduction in overall carbon as well as Atmanirbhar. And we are looking at all varieties of technologies that can achieve both. So we need a high level of localization of the product, not only the product, but also the fuel. So we are studying various options on that. And the second is also a high level of carbon reduction in our entire factory, our operations, manufacturing, supply chain. So both these activities we are pursuing, and that's why we have introduced, or we're doing studies on either the Mirai, which is a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle, or the flex fuel vehicle, which uses ethanol from 0 to 100%, and it's a hybrid as well. So the combination of both, we are trying to understand what is the effect on carbon and what is the effect on the environment.
Right, Mr. Kirloskar, the other part of it is that all the hydrogen and ethanol needs an entire ecosystem, just like electric vehicles. The manufacturing and the dispensation is equal important part for an electric for a manufacturer as well. So how about manufacturing of ethanol and dispensation to the consumers, because you are the person who's manufacturing the vehicle, but it's ultimately upon the consumers to have the ethanol at its doorstep. So how about that? Do you think the government should intervene and bring more solid policy?
I think on ethanol, the government has taken a lot of policy steps to encourage manufacture of ethanol. We are already using 10% ethanol in our fuel across the country. In all the petrol, it's 10% ethanol, and will soon go up to 20%. And I think all our vehicles are already ready for 20%. The issue is, can it go further? And the reason for flex fuel is because ethanol is not available across the country. There's no point in transporting it in the same manner. In some parts, there's a huge amount of ethanol available. This is the first phase of ethanol manufacturing, which is largely based on sugarcane and food grain, things like that. But there is the second phase of ethanol, which will use bagasse, which will use weeds, grass, the stuff that is being burnt in Haryana and Punjab. Indian Oil has set up a plant in Panipat to do the same. So that is also going to change things quite a lot. I've seen the projections of ethanol availability. We are already in surplus, and it looks, from whatever projections I've seen with the current capacity and the future capacities, it looks like we'll have enough ethanol over the next at least 15, 20 years. Now, the concern what people voice, and it's also my concern, that are we using water for fuel? We are a water shortage country, and I don't want to do that. But whatever data I'm seeing, and data I'm seeing from the Niti Aayog data or the PMO office data or Mr. Gadkari's data, which is being shown on the first generation, second generation ethanol, looks like it is not going to affect our water situation. In fact, it's going to support the agrarian economy substantially. So ethanol has a potential of reducing our import of fuel, as well as supporting the agrarian economy, as well as because of the absorption of carbon in the growing of sugarcane or the grass or whatever else that's being used for ethanol production as a biofuel, that contributes to reduction of carbon as well. So it's a big potential, very successful in Brazil, and I hope we can make it a success in India as well.
Absolutely. Well, Brazil has a lot of surplus sugar, and of course, so does India. Do you think with successful monitoring and diversion of excess sugar to manufacturing ethanol, do you really think that Toyota could probably become a leader in supplying ethanol cars? What is its future, do you think?
I think we are not really looking at whether we'll be a leader in ethanol. I think, we will certainly look at how we can maximize the use of ethanol in our vehicles. And with the hybrid, along with ethanol, whatever losses you have in energy on ethanol, you get out of the electric part as well. So I think we'll have a good product for a customer. That's our concern. And I hope ethanol gets used across with other manufacturers also. I don't think I'm sitting there trying to say I'll be the first and second, but to my mind, it looks like a good proposal for Atmanirbhar Bharat in terms of fuel, as well as carbon reduction in terms of our overall goals.
Fair enough, absolutely. I think Atmanirbhar Bharat will definitely be a goal achieved through ethanol. Sir, I would like to ask you about the company. The company has, of course, now posted its highest net profit in the last 4 years. What are the reasons you think is attributing to that?
It's we've been doing generally well. During COVID, that 1 year we had a problem.
Right.
But basically, we have been doing well. This year also, it's doing. This year, our volumes are increasing quite a lot. Our numbers are increasing quite a lot because we've added a bunch of new models. And along with what Maruti is supplying us, also what we are making and supplying to Maruti in certain volumes. So both combination is adding numbers substantially. I think we'll see a big difference in numbers in the next financial year. We're still struggling with shortage of chips and things like that. At times we are still having to break the production for 5 days, 6 days because of shortage of chips, and that is hurting us. It's not the order booking, but it's really shortage of chips, which is cutting our production volumes quite substantially. But I hope that gets sorted out, and by next year we'll be running at more than at a very substantial volume.
Right. We are soon expecting the launch of the Innova Hycross. What are your expectations from that?
It's very good. You'll soon see.
Right. Of course. Moving on, sir. How is the partnership with Suzuki and Toyota coming along? I think the results have now started to show off with good volumes for you and for Maruti as well.
Yes.
I would like to ask you, what is the future looking like? And do you also plan to have some capacity expansion in that? Because you have already had 3 cars you're manufacturing for Maruti, and you probably could soon reach a point where you could want to expand. So are there plans, sir?
If I look at the overall industry over the last 10, 15 years, I think we are just about reaching our peak volumes, what we reached in 2017 or something like that. Okay. So I want to first I think we want to reach our full capacity first and stretch it before we think of adding more capacity. Because I think we need to make sure that we are really growing in automotive or four-wheelers in that way. See, the good thing in India is that the metros are going across the country. Okay, it's no longer one city. Almost every medium-sized, large-sized city, metros are improving. Public transport is improving. Trains are improving, and that is really the right way to go for carbon reduction. And I think public transport is the correct way to go for our country. There's of course going to be requirement of four-wheelers. But before really committing mega capacity increases, I'd like to see how this plays out. I'd rather stretch our existing capacity using Kaizen, improvements, continuous improvements, how best to improve productivity and all that, before taking a call on just putting another capacity.
Right. Of course.
And working with Maruti has been quite excellent. We have learned a lot from them. We have also shared a lot of the technology issues with them. I think it's a good learning experience for both of us.
Right. Mr. Kirloskar, I'll also ask you, how much investments are you planned for upgradation and new models? There were reports that about 1,000 to 2,000 crore rupees were planned, and 5,000 crores were initially being put in for India market. So
during COVID until now, I think between us, our suppliers, and whatever our ecosystem, Toyota Kirloskar Auto Parts and engine company, etc., I think we have already spent 3,500-4,000 crores.
Okay.
During COVID time. We tend to announce our investment after it's made.
Okay.
So that's after it's done.
Right, sir. Those were last set of questions. The company actually recently announced with the diesel Innova bookings being halted. Are there any plans for reviewing it and starting again, or probably the petrol and the hybrid version would continue after of course, the.
No, I hope something will start on diesel side. Right now, because of the huge backlog of orders and shortage of certain chips, we don't want to disappoint a customer saying you have taken an order and then, I'm not able to deliver. That's the only reason it stopped. I think something as our supply chain improves, perhaps this will get sorted out.
And how much is the backlog? Could you give us a number for the Innova this time?
I get phone calls every day asking for deliveries. I've stopped looking at it only. But we're trying to make sure that whoever has ordered and, we deliver to that customer in that same order as we have received orders. So, we don't want to shortchange anyone by fudging the line and things like that. But it's about 6, 7 months, 8 months is the backlog right now.
And BS6 Part 2 will also be getting implemented very soon. Yes. And with the OBD diagnostics coming into play, do you think vehicles could probably get more expensive, or probably also is there a compliance issue that you think?
I'm not so worried about the compliance, because I think we're generally on the emission situation. We're okay.
And any more comment on the expansion plan that you just mentioned? Have you earmarked any money, or probably with Maruti, have you decided something like that?
No, the major things, like you said, this high rider investment has already happened. New engine investment has already happened. These all happened in COVID period, 2 years during COVID. We've done a large investment in hybrid and electric transmissions. That has happened, and that we are exporting transmissions to Japan for the first time, which is we are very happy with that, because that was a tough thing to export a hybrid transmission to Japan, and we are making all the electric motors and everything in-house. So also with domestic machines, we've not imported so much of the capital equipment as well. So we are getting this to settle down. Like you said, there's some rumors about Innova model change, so that investment may have happened. So we've done substantial amount of investment in the last 2 years. Right. So we need to just play it out, see how we get returns on it, and then take a call as we go ahead.
In the next 2 years, any plans with Maruti for more products that you can share with us?
I'm sure you'll see more exciting news with our partnership with Maruti.
Right, Mr. Kirloskar, pleasure as always to speak with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks. And wishing you all the best for the new launch, and hopefully your calls for the deliveries get slower by the day.
I hope so too.
All the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.